Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Native News Update. It's Friday, May 2nd, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Nota Begay III, four-time PGA Tour winner, golf analyst, and founder of the Notah Begay III Foundation, suffered a heart attack last week. Begay, an analyst for Golf Channel and NBC Sports, was taken April 24th to Methodist Hospital in Dallas, Texas, where a stent was inserted to unblock his right coronary artery. He is expected to make a full recovery, according to a statement made by his foundation. The MB3 Foundation, which Begay established to help prevent type 2 diabetes and obesity among Native American children, reported on their website that Begay was home and in good spirits. Begay, who won the last of his 4 PGA Tour titles in 2000, said he was grateful to Dr. Mark Jenkins and the speedy care he received in Dallas. Golf Channel said Begay will be off the air indefinitely while he recovers. On a must-read list this week is a New York Times Magazine piece about the murder of Native American activist Annie Mae Aquash. The body of 30-year-old Aquash, a mother of 2, was found in early 1976 along the edge of the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. Only after the last decade have authorities determined that her killing was in fact an inside job, orchestrated by AIM members who believed she was working as an FBI informer. You can check out the full article at nytimes.com and search for Who Killed Annie Mae. It has been almost 40 years since Annie Mae Aquash was murdered, and her daughter is determined to pursue justice. In an interview released this week from CBC, Denise Pictou-Maloney talks about why she continues. You can listen to the CBC interview by going to cbc.ca and searching for insight into the death of Annie Mae Aquash. The New York Times article also mentioned Black civil rights activist Ray Robinson, who in the spring of 1973 left his wife and 3 young children in Alabama to support the occupation of Wounded Knee in South Dakota and never came home. Now, more than 40 years after his disappearance, his widow and grown daughters, who live in Detroit, Michigan, are closer to knowing what happened. Newly released FBI documents say Robinson was killed at Wounded Knee and suggest members of the American Indian movement covered up the crime. But Robinson's widow and children still don't have what they want most: his remains returned to them so they can bury him close to home. After reading the New York Times article, listen to the interview on hereandnow.wbur.org with Ray's wife and daughter. You can find the interview by searching Solving the Mystery of a Black Activist's Disappearance. The Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa from Michigan have urged the Karl May Museum in Germany to return remains of their ancestors that have been on display. Although the museum has now agreed to remove the items from display, they have refused to return them to the tribe on the basis that it has not been proven which tribe the scalps originated from. Cecil Pavlet of the Sioux tribe said most museums who possess Native American ancestral remains and their funerary objects believe that there is not a scientific relationship between present-day tribal nations and the prehistoric tribal nations. We believe that whether we are directly related or not, we, the present-day nations, hold the responsibility of stewardship and accept the ultimate obligation to care for our ancestors. We are at a point of open dialogue to present our point of view with the Karl May Museum. We will continue to pursue repatriation as this is the only acceptable solution. Survival International wrote to the museum in March asking them to begin a dialogue with the Sioux tribe to return the remains to their rightful owners. As obesity and diabetes rates continue to increase in the Native American community, Navajo tribal leaders voted to eliminate sales tax on healthy food items, which they hope will combat the epidemic by encouraging healthier diets. Navajo Nation Council Delegate Jonathan Hale came up with an initiative that has one simple message: you are in charge of your health. 1 in 3 Navajo are expected to develop diabetes at some point in their lives, as the community is more susceptible to type 2 diabetes. The disease is 2.3 times more common among Navajo than the rest of the nation. Emmy Award-winning news correspondent Hattie Kauffman, who is Nez Perce, was the first Native American to ever file a report on a national network news broadcast. Now, as the first-time author, she shares her story with the release of her first book, Falling into Place. On April 28th, falling into place, won the Christian Book Award for New Author. As part of Hattie's national book tour, she will be traveling to Wisconsin. And on May 30th, she will be at the Barnes & Noble bookstore in Green Bay doing a book signing from 1 to 3. Hattie will then head to the Menominee Nation, where she'll be the commencement speaker for the graduation at the College of the Menominee Nation on May 31st, which is one of 34 colleges in the U.S. and Canada serving Native students. On June 5th, she'll be attending the National Conference for College Women Student Leaders at the University of Maryland, College Park, where she is one of 5 2014 Women of Distinction awardees. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.